welcome everybody to the first live episode of Create Your Own Podcast. Just kidding. It's the Twinbill podcast. Very excited to do a live one after all these months of doing this for NyynewsTV. We finally get to interact with the fans, just me and Luca. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, the Yankees are obviously winning. They're doing well. They're the best team across the major leagues. And, with that being said, there are some little concerns, but definitely we touch on the positive, we touch on the negative. And, one of our first topics will be the whole subject of create your own ballpark. But I'll let Luca introduce himself.
Yeah, it's been a great stretch for the Yankees. Yankees continue to hit. They just took 3 out of 4 from the White Sox. They have a chance to win the series tonight against the Baltimore Orioles. Maybe we go for a sweep. Who knows? The Orioles are shit. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. We've just been hitting. We've been continuing to pitch well. I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. Me too as well. So, very odd, I would say odd, but not at the same time, because Baltimore decided to add in an extra part of their ballpark, which is really weird.
Well, they really didn't add it, Alex. It was just they moved back the left field wall.
That's what I'm talking about. But Aaron Judge could have had 3 home runs last night, and all those home runs came in big spots. We'll talk about, it's a running gag at this point that we all talk about. Judge needs to get his extension and stuff like that. I mean, I've been screaming that from the rooftops for a long time now. But with that being said, 2 home runs last night, and then what could have been a third just off the wall, and he's thrown out at third, which I don't really have a problem with. I feel like it should have been a home run. But I love Aaron Boone and Aaron Judge's responses in response to what happened. Aaron Boone said on the Aaron Judge, what could have been 3 home runs, he almost had 3 homers, but build your own ballpark got him. Then Aaron Judge says on the new Camden Yards, it's a travesty, man. I'm pretty upset. Just looks like create a park now. I mean, I feel like it's, isn't there a mode in MLB The Show where you could create your own ballpark?
Possibly. That might be
the next generation consoles. It's not for PS4, so I don't have that. But I think it's PS5 and Xbox One X or like one of those. And Nintendo Switch probably has it as well. But it looks so not normal. And I forget, what was the purpose of actually putting that in?
I guess it was, they wanted to make it more of a pitcher-friendly ballpark, because from what I read yesterday, the wall height last year was 7'4". This year it's 13 feet. I don't know what the distance was before. It had to be like, I don't know, maybe 370 something or something like that. I don't know. But they changed that up. So.
Yeah, and someone said free agent friendly. I'm like, free agent friendly. They don't fucking spend any money. So how could there be any?
Their payroll is like $30 million.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not even gonna go there. But I just want to take a quick moment before you go on, Luca. Shouts to Zach in the chat, Tim King of Jordans, Philo, and guys? Zach Brownish for the super chat. You guys rock. NyynewsTV to the moon. Yeah, listen, win or lose, we tell the truth all the time, and you know what? That's you're getting the truth here, and that's the only spot you're getting it. Let's just be real.
So what I just read is the dimensions. The left field, wall was pushed back 26.5 feet, and it also in the measurements it was raised 5 feet 8 inches. So yeah.
So wasn't it 7 feet, and then it turned into
7'4", 7'4", then to 13 feet, which is disgusting.
I mean, and then we flipped the narrative, or at least a couple of people did, which I like. This would have been out in 29 of 30 ballparks.
I wouldn't say 29 though, I'll be honest, because it wouldn't have got over the Green Monster.
Yeah, well, that, but 20 it's 28. Let's just say. I mean, I'm not going to look at dimensions of every single stadium, but let's just say 27, 28 out of 30 ballparks. While we get the narrative all the time, and of course, it's not a big topic when Baltimore has their own issues, but every time there's a home run in Yankee Stadium, it's a little league ballpark. Like now the Yankees finally fired back. Well, I mean, they did fire back with the Chris Woodward comments,
Yeah.
but now it's create your own ballpark, and a lot of people are still silent about this.
I'm sure those meme pages are silent.
Those meme pages are probably silent. So is Jared Carabas after Nate Eovaldi gave up 5 fucking home runs yesterday. I added him on Twitter. Didn't say shit, of course.
Yeah, he's probably in pain and depression.
So do you have anything else to add on the topic of
the dimensions?
The demented dimensions.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were doing this, but people were calling for MLB to ban those dimensions. I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen. The Orioles suck anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean,
they have no pitching.
They changed them. Brad says they changed the park's dimensions to counter Gleyber's. I mean, I don't think Gleyber's hit a home run.
That's right. Gleyber used to destroy Camden Yards.
Yeah. Shout outs to Anthony in the chat. I hope to see you. Well, we'll see you actually on June 25th. Don't forget, buy your tickets, everybody. Brad as well. Philo, I already gave a shout out to, but shouts to everybody in chat, everybody watching at the moment. Luca, if you want to move us on to our next topic, or do you want to go into the Judge stuff a little bit? I mean, I
think we could talk about Aaron Judge because I read something yesterday, Alex. This was before the 2-home run game yesterday. ESPN had betting odds for MVP. You want to guess who was first?
Shohei Ohtani.
Correct. Second was Mike Trout. Vladdy was third. Let me look it up because
he hasn't had that good of a season, has he?
No. Let me see.
Mike Trout has actually stayed healthy.
Yeah, that's pretty much a surprise to anybody. So I gotta find these betting odds. Fifth, Aaron Judge was fifth on the list. Let me just say for the record.
Aaron Judge was fifth behind Trout.
Yeah, Trout was second.
He was behind Vladdy too.
Well, no, Trout was second. Vladdy was third.
Vladdy was but he still was behind.
Ohtani, Mike Trout, Vladdy Jr., Byron Buxton, who never, ever, ever stays healthy. He has all the talent in the world, just never can stay healthy. Aaron Judge, fifth.
Byron Buxton. I want you to look up Byron Buxton's stats because we're going to make this a real conversation now. Byron Buxton has, I believe, 11 home runs on the year, which I'm very shocked because he's not a home run hitter. We all know that. He's a speed
crap ton of speed.
But you look at his, talking about, okay, maybe the stolen bases if he's done that for the Twins.
He stole one base this year, Alex.
Has he changed his approach or something? Because his home run to RBI ratio is like typically of a Joey Gallo.
He is 11 home runs, 20 RBIs, 256 average, 323 on base percentage. Over the last 7 games, he's actually struggled a bit. 174 with 296 OBP. It's been a struggle for him lately. I don't know why he's still in the betting odds, which makes no sense. So maybe he has changed up his approach. He hit 19 home runs last year.
At this point, with the last how many years, you might as well give.
Maybe it's a matter of health.
I don't know, but in the last few years, you might as well give Shohei Ohtani his own award because he's going to win MVP every year, no matter how he does on the hitting spectrum. He's not a 300 hitter, I don't think.
Let's be real. The MLB writers are going to suck him off. No matter how good of a year or great of a year Judge will have.
So, I mean, if you did, in my opinion, you know what, you guys can take this as biased or not. I think Judge should be the MVP out of those candidates. Now, I haven't seen Mike Trout, so that's off to the side a little bit. But Byron Buxton, I mean, this looks like he's changed his approach, and they changed him as a player a little bit. It's kind of surprising. Vladdy Jr., has he had the numbers like Judge has had? I don't think so. And then Ohtani's Ohtani. So the only one that the left to decipher is Mike Trout. I want you to look up his numbers while we're at it.
Trout is hitting 10 home runs, 21 RBIs. He's actually hitting 325. You got to remember, Alex, when he was back as an MVP 2012, 2013 in days like that era, he was hitting above 300 and having a very high on base percentage. 325, 440 OBP with a OPS of 1.124. So he's really killing it.
Yeah, Alexi Hernandez says ESPN is bugging. Yeah, I mean, well, it's ESPN, so we can't expect too much. Judges of now should be the MVP, but still, yeah, I mean, you know, I think it all comes down for that to be the actual conversation of Judge and Trout. I think it's going to come down to health, and I think any unbiased baseball fan should give it to Aaron Judge at the end of the year. Now, I'm not trying to say that Mike Trout should get hurt or anything. Um, I'm not campaigning for that. But with that being said, like Mike Trout's going to get hurt. I think it's been a staple of every year.
He played 36 games last year. He's played 34 this year.
That's very interesting.
And I think he's older than Judge, is he? Let me see.
No, he's definitely older than Judge. I mean,
Trout's 30.
Trout's 30 and Judge is
around 30. Judge is 30. Both are 30.
Wow.
Trout was born in 91, Judge in 92.
I'm still older, but
remember, I think they were in the same draft class.
Were
2009.
They really?
I think they were.
No, but I'm pretty sure Judge went back to Fresno State, and then
Judge was drafted in 13.
by the Yankees in like 2013 or 2012.
Oakland selected him in 2010, but then you said he went back to California State. He would eventually go back to Fresno State. So they were not in the same draft, even though they're a year apart. 2010 was the draft of Bryce Harper and many other talented guys.
Yeah. Aaron Judge is Jesus Christ himself. If Hal doesn't pay up, I'm a flip. Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be interesting with this arbitration case.
That's supposed to be next month, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what our expectation should be that Hal shouldn't, and listen, Judge bet on himself. A lot of people were very unhappy with him betting on himself and saying that
he didn't start out the year the best.
No, but you know what? He's proven everybody wrong, and that's what I like to see out of Aaron Judge. As a Yankees fan, and all those people out there that were already moving on from him, and I bring this up every time because I can. Nobody know. It's funny. It's funny enough. I know Luca's getting some shit on Twitter, on the Boys in Big Apple Twitter, because he obviously was very critical of the offseason. Everybody's adding him, but funny enough, nobody's adding these people that were already moving on from Aaron Judge. I don't know, man. I don't know that they have the balls to come out and admit they're wrong, but it is what it is. How much do you think Aaron Judge expects for?
I want $36 million. But you know what? He might even go say, I want 8 years, $300 million.
Yeah, I mean, in the contract negotiation, what was it? Was the years the thing?
No, the years wasn't probably the problem. He was projected to get paid around like $30 million, like closer to $28-30 million per year. So, take that into factor. If Judge, imagine, I was talking to Pete about this last night. Imagine Judge has an A-Rod 07 year or a Stanton 2017 year where he just goes all out. Alex, let me ask you this. He has 14, 15, should be 15 home runs, but, build a ballpark. Do you think that Judge is going to break his own home run record? Not a record, but you know what? Personal, his highest was 52. Do you think he's going to go over 52 home runs this year?
No.
Really?
I don't think that's going to happen again. That's only a once in career thing. Unless it's the steroid era, I don't think it's going to, personally.
Wow.
Judge.
Wow.
I know I'm being a trooper, definitely, but I don't think he does that again. I hope to be wrong. I mean, then again, too, you could argue in 2017 he maybe could have hit more home runs.
The chat should boo you for just saying that. They should straight up boo you.
Yeah, and then, trust me, months later, and I don't want to be right about this, months later, they're going to be booing me again. I'll be like, why are you booing me? I'm right. Like that Eric Andre reference or something like that?
I think so.
But no, I just don't think he could have hit more home runs if it wasn't for the goddamn home run derby in 2017.
Yeah.
But to me, that's always a once in career staple. And I think personally, we're lucky. we're lucky that and I'm not trying to say that he's this player, but if he gets to 52, 53, 54 home runs, let's say he gets that staple once again, um, hopefully for the rest of the career, he doesn't turn into Chris Davis, where we sign him to a big fat contract. Chris Davis is a horrible ball player, has been, wasn't he a few weeks ago just debating coming back?
I didn't know, actually. I wasn't too sure.
I thought you were the one who told me that.
It might have been the other Chris Davis. Like, are you talking about Chris Davis who played with the A's or Chris Davis
The
who played with?
O's.
I don't think it was that Chris Davis.
Chris Davis's both turn into all or nothing hitters. It's just Chris Davis. Everyone had their own prime. It is what it is. Chris Davis, Chris Davis, Chris Davis.
Ryan Howard nearly had 50 home runs twice. He had 50 when he won the MVP in 2006. He had 58. In 2008, he had 48, which was close. He was also second MVP voting. 2009, he had 45. But I think he can do it, dude.
So I am getting booed in the chat.
You
Zach
deserve it.
Brownish says boo. Brad says no wonder Luka is the better twin. Shouts to Mike Rattana as well. He says I just can't see the Yankees letting him go. I think he's going to come back. I just think when are they going to get this done? The arbitration meeting can tell us how the contract extension will be with Judge. I mean, it depends how the Yankees have no leverage right now. I mean,
No.
as an organization, they have no leverage. So we'll see. Brad says, I believe Judge also has a good shot at 50 plus. Look out 52. I mean, it's possible. I just think that I don't think he's going to hit more home runs than he did in 2017. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Dude, this is his best year yet. Why don't you think he's going to hit a home run? Hit that mark or above that?
I just think 50 home runs plus is once in a lifetime thing.
Okay. I hope he really proves you wrong because you sound dumb right now. Even though I
have people. See, Anthony Medina agrees with me. He says I'm in the minority with Alex. I don't think he will hit 52.
This is his best season yet. He's hit what? 14 home runs in 36 games. He's going to get better throughout the season.
You're going to get the pom-poms out, Luka?
Yes, I will get my Aaron Judge pom-poms out.
I think Mike's agreeing with me too. Anthony says, actually, what was it saying? I screwed up all that shit right there. Mike says, Anthony, I'll take 49, LOL. But I'm not saying he's going to hit. I'm going back to another comment. He said he can honestly hit 60. I'm not saying he will hit 60, but he has that kind of power. Yeah, definitely. Philo says he hopes he gets over 50. Brad can't believe what Anthony said, but I agree with Anthony. I think it's a realistic expectation. I hope to be wrong.
Are you going to say it because it's the dead ball era? They're deadening.
I'm not saying it's a dead ball era. It says okay. How many players? And maybe chat, you guys can answer this as well. How many players have hit in recent years 50 home runs once or twice, more than once in their career?
Like, how far do you want to go back is the question.
How far do you want to go back?
No, I'm asking you that because you're the one evaluating, damn it.
2010, 2009.
Okay, hold on. I might have one of your answers for you. Okay, so starting off in 2010, Bautista hit 50. What was it? 54 home runs. So he did not achieve 50 home runs twice. Let's see about Chris Davis, who we just brought up.
Jose Bautista finished his career on a horrible note.
Davis had 53 home runs in 2013, ranked third in MVP voting.
I know that. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
He did not get back to 50 home runs again. Giancarlo Stanton. Let's see about Stanton, our buddy.
He's 59.
59. That's the highest he's ever went, and he hasn't hit around 50 since. Aaron Judge, same thing. Pete Alonso, I think that's the same scenario. Alonso last season hit 37. So no guy, unfortunately, Last one to do it multiple times was Alex Rodriguez. 07, 02, and 01.
What was the count though? Like, what was the number count?
52 in 2001, 2002, 57, in 2007, 54.
Now you're gonna call me an idiot for this, and I don't care. But you want to possibly mix steroids into that?
Could be, unfortunately.
So listen, I'm not trying to campaign against Aaron Judge. I mean, I'm rooting for the guy, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I think he's going to do the impossible of what's not happened in the 2010s.
And I hope I'm wrong. Brad says not an easy thing to do, but Judge makes ballparks small. Mike says, see with Judge, the ball doesn't mean anything. The stadium doesn't mean anything. He could hit it out anywhere, any weather. I saw Alonso yesterday. The ball square and it didn't go out. He hit the ball square and it didn't go out. The Mets stadium is too big. Yeah, and I think for some reason also as well. I mean, we were passing by the other day. I think isn't it more expensive in some spots of the stadium?
Quite possibly could be.
Yeah, because I remember, obviously we were trying to. Oh crap, my camera. We were trying to get tickets for the 9/11 game last year. I mean, it was super expensive either way because of the stakes.
Wasn't like right down. It could be because of the game itself.
It was like $200 for right field seats. So I mean, if we went back to the stadium this year, I really would have liked to see the ticket prices. But also at the same time, I would be working, and number two, the Giants game would be at 425, so I would have to balance those out. Judge is a much better hitter than Chris Davis, and definitely. I mean, Chris Davis was an all or nothing guy. Again, just go back to him not getting injured. Yeah, I mean, also as well, maybe he could have hit more home runs a couple of years ago if it wasn't for the home run derby. I mean, we all know that messes up a lot of player swings. Forget it. If Judge was on Saipan, he would hit 86, 87 home runs, and Alonso is strong. Alonso, Mosley, FBI. I think he said FBI. I think I'm just trying to, FBI, because obviously the exclamation points. Okay, Luca, you wanna move us on to our next subject?
So, with that, of course, over the last couple of days, we have our Aroldis Chapman hiccups. Oh, not one, not two, but three in recent memory.
Yeah, but Luca, don't you want to go on the positive? Don't you want to stay on Donaldson before Chapman? Yeah, I'm kidding.
Yeah, sure I do. But Aroldis Chapman should not be the closer right now. He's had three hiccups in recent memory, three in the last two series. You had yesterday, which we almost lost, and it was like this much as long as LeMay. You know what? I can't even. It's like, Chapman left up that pitch. I don't know who it was where he hit the fly ball to Joey Gallo, who should have caught the damn ball, but more on that later. He kind of blew up against the Orioles yesterday. He blew up against the Orioles a little before. He did end up giving a home run. And then the White Sox game where he gave up the walk-off hit. He juiced it. It was two men on, bottom of the ninth. Tim Anderson scored the game-winning run on a single. So it's nothing new from Chapman. He's continued to suck. He is way past his prime.
He's continued to. Yeah, Yankees Twitter won't be happy with you, Luca. You said he continues to suck.
I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn what they say. Chapman is terrible. I don't think he's blown a save this year, but he's just been awful. Last 7 games, 5 saves, 4 runs, and 6.1 1/3 innings, 9 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. It's just like.
What about the ERA?
5.68, I believe. It's like when you see Chapman throw his first couple of pitches, you know what's going to happen. He's either really locked in or he's going to, be wild. Yesterday was a mixture. He got the first 2 outs and then started giving up. Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get with him. So who is your ideal closer right now? Now, Jonathan Loaisiga, who we all said last year, to be the closer, has struggled a lot. And, the Yankees haven't given him.
I think you should be the closer.
That's a fair assessment because, as I said, Loaisiga struggled. The Yankees haven't given him a true role. And, as you said, Holmes is cut out for the job. Until Loaisiga starts pitching better, I think Holmes should be the guy.
Yeah. I just want to get some comments real quick. Just says, what we do if Judge doesn't resign. Mike says nothing. We will not have Judge on the team. That's what I'm saying. Just the Yankees almost have to resign him. I mean, that's imperative. Our team won't be good then, Mike. Offense isn't going to click. I mean, I'm not going to go too much into off-season shit because, like, we're in mid-season right now. But if they don't resign him, every Yankee fan's going to want to go after Juan Soto. And we don't know if the Yankees are actually capable of that. With that being said, though, in terms of this whole Chapman stuff, and, he's not a terrible closer, but you also have to look at certain things. Yes, he hasn't blown a save this season. Yes, he hasn't, his ERA for the year is not necessarily bad. It's not necessarily mediocre. But he's getting paid $18 million. And
yeah, he's not worth the buck.
We were already discussing coming into the year, at least we were, maybe other guys were focused on the hype videos and shit like that, is he's a box of chocolates whenever he comes out of the bullpen. Sometimes, he is, I believe, the only pitcher that we have to pitch within a matter of 5, or we can't pitch on long rest because he will get wild. He will be too ice cold. Obviously, Johnny Lowe has not been very reliable. I don't know, Luke, if you want to do some stat researching while I go into my tangent a little bit. But I think Clay Holmes honestly is fit for that role. And, coming into the year, I didn't necessarily think Clay Holmes should have been the closer. I think it should have been Johnny Lowe. But obviously, I've changed my opinion on that. And, that puts you in a bit of a conundrum, honestly. If we're being GMs and managers here and, front office executives, if you take Chapman out of that role, if you take Chad Green out of his role, who do you put as your setup guy if Clay Holmes is your closer?
See, I thought Loizaga was getting hit a shit ton. So he's 1-1 with a 5.52 ERA, 2.216 batting average against, which is not terrible for like an ERA and, the way he's pitched this year. But what's alarming is 11 hits in 14.2 innings and 8 walks, which is pretty alarming. Now he struck out 13, but the consistency just has not been there.
No. And I don't know why. Maybe you could attribute that maybe they overused him last year. I don't know what the story is. I'm not going to try to make it
I would
up,
say this year that you overused him.
Yeah, because I think they thought that he was going to be I think maybe. Now, let me ask you this. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. If Chad Green, with the state of the roster right now, which if you remove Chad Green and Chapman from the roles and you put Holmes as closer, who would you have there, in your opinion? Chad, you could answer this as well. Like, who would you have as your setup guy, your 7th inning guy? Who would you have there? And now I forgot the other question I was going to ask, but answer that for me.
Setup guy, I would clearly give that defiance role to Loizaga. As for the 7th, you
wouldn't pitch him in the 7th inning?
No. Right now, Loizaga would deserve to be the setup guy, strictly. That's it. Nothing else. You define that role for him. As for the 7th inning, Chad Green, obviously, you said is not, a possibility.
You can't put him in there in a close game. If the game is like more than 2 runs, I would put Chad Green in the ball game. Other than that, I would not.
So maybe options you got Ness. Well, that's my bad. Miguel Castro. When is it? Is he injured or something? I haven't seen him pitch in a couple of days.
That's a good point. I have not seen him pitch in a couple of days.
So Castro, you could maybe fit for that 7th inning role. We obviously said Holmes is going to be the closer as we project. Michael King, he seems like more of a length guy. How about Lucas Lidke?
I don't have a problem with Lidke.
So Lidke or Castro could be that 7th inning guy.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're going there. Jasmine says, and this is an interesting comment. I'm very interested in this one. Hicks, Trevino, Higgy, Rizzo, and Gallo gotta go. Why Trevino and Rizzo? Like Trevino.
I think she might be attributing to the offense, but the the main point is in today's MLB, you really have to have a good defensive catcher, and Trevino's been on. He's been I'm sorry. He's been unbelievable He's been unbelievable as a defensive catcher this year. It's not even about his defense. It's the way he's worked with the pitching staff. You can see a drastic difference than what they do with Higashioka. I don't know if there's any stat for that, but just watching like Severino Trevino or Severino and Higashioka. I remember doing like last week's game on Game Season, and we were watching Severino against the Jays, and Severino's fastball was working, but his off speed was not. And Higashioka constantly called for him to go with the off speed, even though it wasn't working. Is it like now? I asked the guys in the panel yesterday. Was this going a little unnoticed last year? How Higashioka works with the pitchers? Maybe because of Gary.
I mean, yeah, it's. As our friend, your friend specifically, Anthony BRONX says, pitchers are afraid to throw a slider in the dirt. Hell, he can't catch a pop-up behind the plate. How's he blocking a slider? But he was talking about Gary Sanchez in that aspect. Obviously, this is going back to when we traded him. But you said he wanted Severino to go a lot with his off speed.
Yeah.
So are you trying to point? Are you trying to point to the thing that it's possible that he had him going to the off speed because they know they couldn't do that with Gary because he would not block it?
I don't think that's the case, though. I really don't. It's about the game. It's not about Gary Sanchez or anything. It's like how the game goes along. But I just don't think Higashioka works well. Like, he can have his days. Obviously, Trevino does need his rest. There's no reason Higashioka should be starting or even splitting time with Trevino. Trevino should be that top guy. Trevino also makes more contact.
Yeah. And, as you said, you really need a good defensive catcher. I mean, Jonah Heim's doing his thing in Texas right now. I'm not going to make any qualms about trading this guy. Jacob Stallings. I mean, I don't know what he's doing with Miami right now. They may be at 500. I don't fucking know. I'm not going to make any qualms about the offseason. Oh, we should have went Jonah Heim. No, I'm very happy with Jose Trevino. And honestly, this is what we expected of him. Like, he's not hitting the greatest. His average has always been 230 to 250 in his career, but you see just a drastic difference. Maybe not to some, but you see a difference between when Higgy's catching and when Trevino's catching. What was I going to say? Well, we were getting at something beforehand, before we brought this up. But also, as to your comment, like, I wouldn't get rid of Rizzo. Like, I think he's been on a slide a little bit of
a slump, but he'll come out of it. Like, to me, the average is kind of an anomaly for his results. Like, he gets on base, he has good at bats. It's the average is kind of like an anomaly.
Yeah. Shouts to Jared in the chat. What's going on, man? What was the thing we were discussing before, though, that we before we got into this topic?
We were basically talking Chapman.
We were talking Chapman, yeah. And also, to be fair, Pete brought it up, and that was one of the things I wanted to say. Pete brought it up in the chat, is that Loaisiga has been positioned in many roles. He's never been given this role for this year, and I think that's what's screwing up different situations and stuff like that. I mean, wasn't he the guy that blew the game against the Orioles when Odor had that?
He blew the game against the White Sox as well. It was 7-4. Remember?
Yeah.
In the seventh inning, Loaisiga gives up the 3-run bomb to Yohan Moncada. Luckily, the Yankees offense bailed him out. It was a 7-run 8th inning.
Yeah, that Luka missed, by the way, guys.
Yeah, I was in the shower at that time, but that's besides the point. So, we just got to find that role for Loaisiga. Solidify that role. Do not, throw him around.
Luka, real quickly, do you want to show the audience one of the newest treasures?
All right. I'll get both, actually.
Yeah.
If you can see the writing, that is a Greg Bird autograph program from the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders game we went to, which was last Thursday.
The one and only Greg Bird.
And Greg Bird signed ball. The one, the only Greg Bird.
Yeah. He hit a home run last night, too, which makes me proud that we have his autograph. I mean, he's not hitting well.
When we went.
Yeah, no, he struck out like 3 times and then walked in the ninth inning when they were trying to build up some offense. Uh, Big Boy 97 says using Aroldis Chapman is like continuously putting your hand on a hot stove and getting mad because you got burnt. I mean, I wouldn't put it too definitively like that. Um, but I would put it as if it's a box of chocolate. Like sometimes he'll come out firing, sometimes he won't. Like,
Like his fastball was a little weird. He started out at 93, then went to 97.
yeah. What was I gonna say? Now I don't remember what I was gonna say. What do y'all think about this? Gallo, Hicks, remove Chapman from the closer role. Send Higgy down to the minors to get rid of him and Loaiza. I would not get rid of Loaiza either. I think
It's just one bad season. We need that. He needs a defined role, as we've been saying.
Yeah, I mean,
Higgy, I don't think you can option him anymore.
No, and you do need a backup catcher. I'm not saying
Rorvet is MIA right now.
Yeah, he's on planet Venus or something. But as far, I think we need to calm down a little bit with the Loaiza stuff. We need stable. We can't be switching bullpen pitchers in and out every year. I love the depth we have in the minor leagues. Clark Schmidt, eventually Ron Marinaccio, Hayden Wesniewski, Waldichuk, Steven Ridings when he gets healthy. I think he's still injured. But whatever the case, we can't be switching in and out pitchers. We got to wait for these guys to get ready. Loaiza is just having a bad start, and I feel like that's some on Loaiza because he's not controlling his pitches, and at the same time, that's also on the Yankees for not necessarily putting him in a defined role. If they did that, I think he would have a little bit more of a little bit. He would have a better season, I think, just slightly maybe. Hicks definitely we're gonna get to Aaron Hicks. I mean, is that our next subject or is it Donaldson?
It was actually Donaldson.
Do you want to switch to the Hicks subject and the outfield subject while we are at it?
I guess we can. So, eventually there's going to be Alex. Do you think? I think it's kind of an obvious question. Do you think we need an outfielder at the deadline?
Yeah, we need something because here's the thing, and I know we're all happy, and trust me, we all are 26-9.
But you can still upgrade when you're doing really well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, even the best teams upgrade at the deadline. What was it, a year ago? Max Scherzer, right? He was traded to
Dodgers.
Traded to the Dodgers. There's a lot of other teams that upgraded, and Dodgers, I think, were, if I'm not mistaken, maybe the Dodgers were seen as one of the best teams of baseball, maybe behind the Giants. I can't actually go back in time and tell you, but even teams it's going to be weird. And I don't think the Yankees will move on from Aaron Hicks, unfortunately. And I know a lot of people on Twitter love Aaron Hicks. They love his walks. The walks are the only thing that you can attribute to Aaron Hicks and his hitting. Singles, yeah. Apparently singles mean. Meanwhile, we have some people a year ago, and, I'm not going to mention them because that would give them only more clout, that wanted to get rid of walks. That's so stupid. But that's literally hypocritical to some of these other people that love the analytics and thinks walks are the best things as popcorn. They're not the best things as popcorn, right? I think they're overvalued a little bit. But look at Hicks's last 7 games. Look at Hicks's stats on the season, Luke. I'll have you display that. It's in the doc if you want to.
Yeah, let me see what he's got so far. So
he's hitting 103 in the last 7.
Let's see. Yeah, 105 in the last 7 games. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, a stolen base, no homers, 2 RBIs.
How many hits? How many at bats?
2 hits, 19 at bats. 2 for his last 19. He's 4 for his last 40.
That's terrible. I mean, talk about walks, but when it comes to if this offense, and I'm not trying to spray negativity here, but if this offense does slow up and Hicks is in a situation, and we know he can't hit, I don't know why I can't find stats. This guy hits with this in runners in scoring position. We all talk about the OPS and the expected ERA and the FIP and all these other things, but we can't find what Hicks hits with runners in scoring position. We can't find what a hitter hits with runners in scoring position. Apparently, every stat page has fucking their priorities ass backwards.
With runners in scoring position, Aaron Hicks hits 150.
Thank you for maybe I'm blind. Maybe I'm blind. Maybe I can't see that.
I found it on Yahoo. He actually has a home run with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, that was what against Toronto with a runner on in right
Might
field,
be.
ball that barely got out. And I know I'm being hypocritical, but I can be in this situation. You have to get somebody like Benintendi. Like that's the only
He's
name.
contact. And
He's
he's having a good year.
he bounces out like what the outfield I think needs. Because if you have now, they're not putting him in the outfield every single day. They're playing him more than I thought they would in terms of Stanton. But if you could have an outfield of Benintendi, Judge, and Stanton, you have Benintendi, who I don't know how his defense is perceived.
He's a good defender, I believe.
But you have the contact hitting in left field. You have Judge, who is Judge, MVP Judge in center. And you have Stanton in right, who arguably has better stats when he plays right field. And you don't have to worry about Gallo or, Aaron Hicks. But the problem is that you get Benintendi. What are you going to do with Hicks? What are you going to do with Gallo? Like, what are you doing with those players? Like, you're going to send down to Hicks? Wasn't, if I'm not mistaken, now maybe I could be wrong on this one. Wasn't Hicks DFA'd in 2016 or something?
He might have been.
Because I remember them doing that. I'm like, now that I think about it. But I remember someone saying in chat, I think it was Brad, Joey Gallo's not built for New York. He did. I think he, you know what? You're going to talk. I'll let you talk.
Apparently, per Baseball Savant,
Baseball Savant.
Andrew Benintendi has a 93% success rate in left field.
Fucking success. Yeah. What we can literally break down 100 situations why he can have success. He could literally stand there for an entire game, not have a single ball hit to him, and that would be a success rate. So that's why you got to take shit like this. Inciarte and Florial off of the outfield. I would not go Inciarte. Like, he had a good spring training, but Inciarte's, he's over the hill. Like, he played for the Diamondbacks, he played for the Braves, he played for a couple other ball clubs. He's a backup. He's in AAA. That's where he's going to stay. And Estevan Florial, like, I've gotten to the point of realization that they're just not going to use him, that they're just not going to call him up, that they're not going to use him. So, in an ideal situation, I think you would. Maybe like you get Benintendi, you DFA Hicks, you do whatever with Gallo, you bring Florial up because he has all tricks of the trade. But I think at this point, Florial is just a minor leaguer. I think it's just the fact of realization, not something I want. But, what are your feelings on the whole Florial thing?
I think as you said, we got to come to the realization that he's probably not going to be utilized. I don't think he's going to be, it might just turn into one of those Clint Frazier projects, honestly. They're not giving enough time up here. And he honestly does deserve a spot over guys like Aaron Hicks and Joey Gallo, but we know that's not going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know. It just seems like some people in the analytics department just overvalue walks, like Yankees Twitter. But hold on. There was a comment I wanted to get to. Florial in AAA is hitting 260, average 353 on base, 10 stolen bases, and a 413 slugging. If I'm not mistaken, those are pretty good stats. But, he did, honestly, though, he did suck when we go there. So when we went there last Thursday when we went there, then again, too, the whole lineup sucked. Like, barely anybody got hits. Anthony Medina with the 499 super chat says, hey, guys, do you think Judge will be auditioning to be the regular center fielder and Hicks becoming more of a bench player and losing playing time? I would like to think that way. You were saying.
I was going to say Judge can be put in center field. He's shown the range. Maybe not in Yankee Stadium, but definitely center field. Yeah, that's because him being able to play center and right is bodes very well for him.
It was funny enough, and I actually attribute this to now in real life. In MLB The Show in my franchise, which I haven't played in a couple of days, I put Aaron Judge in center field just to give my outfielders, a little more playing time, like Stanton. And I forget, Joey Gallo actually is on the IL for me for 6 months. So I don't know who my left fielder is for the longest time. But, Stanton has a good arm in right field in the game. And you could also attribute that to now. Judge, his range could be questionable. But compare Judge's arm in center field to Aaron Hicks.
Yeah, Hicks is probably has like a balloon arm. Freaking deflates.
Noodle arm.
Noodle arm, whatever. But
Judge
is whenever Judge throws the ball from the outfield, it's usually a line drive and it's a fast. It really has high velocity.
Which would be a possible test for him because, like in center field, sometimes you're not going to come up on the angles you do in left and right field. Like sometimes it's going to be offline, and I think Judge will have to deal with that if he is the full-time center fielder. Which honestly, I'm buying into as long as Stan gets playing time. But the problem is we have one automatic out in left field. Like it's either Gallo or Hicks, and I as long as Hicks, I should say, I would love Hicks to sit on the bench, right, and come off the bench if he has any attributes that would lift up this ball club. But Hicks, Judge in center field doesn't make much sense to me unless you bench Hicks and you get Stanton more playing time. I mean, that's what they're probably on the road to in terms of Stanton. I don't know about Hicks, though, because it seems like, oh, we're benching him. Then we're not benching him. Let's make up your fucking mind.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add on the Aaron Hicks subject?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
Mike says, what happened to Hicks's arm? It used to be top 5-6 in the league. Injury, probably. Yeah, I mean, he's been injured. He hasn't really played a full season. How many games has he played, Luca? Because I know you made that famous bet that Aaron Hicks is going to play over 100 games this year.
He's had to play around 30 games this year. So Hicks this season has played a total of, let's get that out, 32 games, which is the same amount he played last year.
So he's like Mike Trout. He's trying to match his total.
Yeah. He hasn't played 100 games since 2018.
Who do you think has the off day today? I say Stan. If Judge has the off day, I mean, they won't rest him twice in a series. But if he has the off day, I will flip. Like, I don't care what Aaron Boone said yesterday. Obviously I love the comments, but he says Stanton. That's in reference to Big Boy's comment. It might be Stanton. It might be, who knows? It might be Donaldson. Let's see who else. Who else could it be? Hagee, I don't think so. I'm trying to think of guys who came up big yesterday because it would be in Yankee front office fashion. Like that's like at this point in the game now, I don't know how the audience feels about this. I have problems with the front office. I don't have problems with Aaron Boone right now. Some situations I will, but not as much as the years before. Because I think he's grown a set. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, he's definitely proven something to me this year. But overall, I think Stan's probably going to sit. I don't know if he sat recently though. I don't think he has. I think Judge sat the first game.
He wasn't happy about that.
No.
Yeah. Brad says he would give Marwin Gonzalez more playing time over Aaron Hicks.
He hasn't played in a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I would. Like, I don't know how his arm is in left field, but it's also a corner. It's not like you're playing him in center field where you need range. Like left field's, I'm not saying it's easy, but you don't need a lot of range. You do need some quality arm strength on. I don't know, like obviously playing infield and outfield is very different. So, I mean, I'd welcome that. Possibly experiment. With that being said, do you want to move on?
Yeah, we can move on. I'm pretty sure we had Josh Donaldson on the list. He's come alive in the last couple of games.
I said it on Monday's Boys in Big Apple podcast, and then he hit a home run. And one of my questions I typed in our doc in our notes was, Josh Donaldson, is this the player he is? Is he only going to hit 230? Right now he's hitting 246, and he's ripping the cover off the wall. I believe he's hitting 333 over the last 7. If you want to go portray those stats real quickly.
Last 7 games, hitting 333, 9 for his last 27. In the last 15 games, he's hitting 304, 17 for his last 56. So 3 homers and 7 RBIs in his last 7 games, as you mentioned. 438 on base percentage. So he is drawing, a decent amount of walks as well. I think he drew 4 walks to 9 strikeouts. But you know what? I think Donaldson is starting to find that groove. But, I expect him to hit around like 230, 240 this year. So that's what I expect him to be. Pressure's kind of off of him now, in my opinion, because since everybody else is hitting.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And, the whole lineup will click when certain players come alive. And Donaldson has done that. Rizzo, I mean, he's been on a slide. He'll heat up. Stanton's been Stanton. Judge has been Judge. I mean, Donaldson was big in that White Sox series. And, coming into the season, a lot of people questioned certain aspects of Donaldson, the way he would age. Donaldson has been a good defender, great defender, maybe some consider elite. I don't know how far you on the spectrum you would go as of that. But as a hitter, I really thought his ceiling would be like 230. Right now he's hitting 246, and hopefully he gets that up a little bit. Because I'm still a Mendoza line guy. I'm still 250.
Yeah.
But he's not going to cover off the ball, and that's what I like to see. I want to be proven wrong. Like, is it the best long-term answer? Probably not. But also, the Yankees are built in the short term, and you know what? For $25 million or $21 million a year, let's make let's have him up to the standard that obviously those $21 million are at. Donaldson has been working the counts for 2 weeks now, seeing the ball well. Yeah,
he's changing his approach.
Yeah. Is Cole on the mound tonight? Like, who pitched last night?
It was Tyone.
So is it Monty?
No, I don't think it's Monty. It actually might be Garrett Cole, because I think, remember, who did we have start unconventionally? Yeah, it was Heel last week. Tonight it's Garrett Cole versus Jordan Lyles.
Jordan Lyles. Like, I'm expecting the offense to crush him, because, it just seems to me that every time we face Jordan Lyles, it's like he's a Cy Young winner.
Yeah.
But it's Garrett Cole on the mound, and it's not Nestor, or it's not Monty. So hopefully we could, actually hit against this guy. Yeah, Jasmine says Glaber and Donaldson have picked it up. Donaldson has reached base in his last 22 games, or close to 22. He is like second in the MLB for the on-base streak right now. Yeah, I mean, you know what? You compare him, and if people could say, "Oh, well, he walks," he's like Aaron Hicks. So, he does more than Aaron Hicks. Like Aaron, Josh Donaldson has had the singles. He's knocked in runs. He's done it all so far, and I think just hopefully he continues that streak. Your thoughts?
Yeah, he's as I said earlier, the pressure's off him because the main guys are hitting. So, he's doing his thing. Got to give him credit.
Now, Big Boy said, this is interesting. Like, this wasn't in my notes, but I would like to bring it up. IKF falling off.
He was on a hot run towards the end of April and just had to fall off. Yeah, he went on a run, and he, in that White Sox series, he was struggling defensively. Like, he wasn't really much known for his bat. He could hit like 270, like solidly, but we all knew him as this good defensive shortstop. He was going to be better than Glaber. I think it's in his head. It's nothing about mechanics. It's all in his head.
Do you think it's like coming to now, put aside defense, do you think it's like coming to the realization that this is the player he is and he's not a super contact hitter? Well, he is a contact hitter because that's what he does, but he's not this on base percentage guy. He's not this stolen base guy. I mean, how do you feel about that?
He's not a very hard-hitting contact hitter. He's not going to hit line drives. He relies on very soft contact.
Slap dick singles.
I guess you can call it that. And with the errors, it's kind of uncharacteristic. Let me look up his statistics because again, as I said, I think it's all in his head with him when it comes to the errors. He has a very weird throwing angle when he actually gathers the ball and fires to first. He kind of throws from I want to say sidearm, but he's actually up to 271. He was like below 250, I thought, but he was once hitting 300. He's now at 271. Let me look at his.
Go ahead.
Fielding statistics. He has a total of 5 errors this season. He had 19 last year.
Yeah. What was I going to say? With that being said, like this, here is to why people need to watch baseball other than just look at the stats because, he's hitting 300 in his last 7. He's got 6 hits over his last 20 at bats. He's got 1 RBI. He's got 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 2 stolen bases. But I think you also have to look at the at bats. What pitches is he chasing? What pitches is he not chasing?
He has had very poor at bats. He's chasing the ball. Baseball. I think Baseball Savant doesn't like him. Like the people who solely rely on that is people who rely solely on Baseball Savant will not like Kiner Falefa. Let me look up his Baseball Savant page just to irritate Alex.
Why do you do this to me? Big Boy says I would like LeCastro back on the bench as well. He is on the IL at this point. So
latch strain. Kiner Falefa. Chase rate, he is in the poor. He is only he has 2 total good, I shouldn't say good. I say great percentile rankings. Whiff percentage and sprint speed. That's it. He's good in the strikeout percentage and expected batting average, but everything else is poor. Outs above average, poor. Walk percentage, average. Barrel percentage, poor. Average exit velocity, poor, because, we said he's a soft contact guy. Max exit velocity, poor. Hard hit percentage, poor. Expected slugging, poor. So if you're, a geek like that, a nerd like that, you're not going to like Kiner Falefa.
I mean, what was I going to say? What is his if you're looking at that, what do you want his expected slugging percentage to be? Like he's not a guy who hits the ball hard. So if he's because that's weird though. Like
his expected slugging is pretty ghastly.
That's how you could question analytics because we know who IKF is.
His expected slugging is pretty ghastly. It's 355, but his real slugging percentage is 327.
Right, but so they're expecting him. But here's the thing as well. Like, here's how you could question analytics. In certain ways. Now, people could say, well, this, or this, whatever. What are you? Obviously, they take the at bats into account. But what are you actually expecting of Isaiah Kiner Falefa? Like expected slugging percentage at 355. Like I don't know if that personally, I'm not too into slugging percent. Like the 355 is not great, but are you really expecting that high for Isaiah Kiner Falefa? Like, do you get what I'm trying to say?
He's soft contact single guy. He's not going to hit a ton of extra bases.
Right. That's where you could question analytics and say, why is it that high for Falefa? Why is he, badly in the percentile of expected slugging when the player he is the player he is?
Right.
So that's where you could really flip both sides. Yeah, you look at the at-bats, but at the same time, you know who the player is. Right. Pete said in the chat, IKF is what he is. No one to depend on. I believe Oswaldo Peraza is finally turning it on in AAA as well. See if you're going to get the stats at least the last 7 for Oswaldo Peraza because he didn't do that. He didn't do that well when we were there. Jared Miller says, I only follow the general stats, batting average, RBI. Yeah, listen, we do too. We're not Baseball Savant geeks. Trust me, that's just not what we do here. Shouts to Rod Thompson in the chat as well. This is an interesting comparison for someone who wanted this guy for a little while. Not me, of course. Judge is the Deebo Samuel of the Yankees. I know you're a Niner fan too, referring to Pete. Yeah,
I guess.
I guess, as long Danny Trehu, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, hopefully. But Danny says as long as IKF can hit 275-ish with good defense, run the bases well, we are good for this year. Yeah, and I mean, his defense hasn't been great though. Like, it's weird with IKF. It's like a weird relationship. Like, and I know I'm saying like 1,000 times here, but what was I going to say? He's hitting, I would say, better than people have expected as average-wise, but he's not a very good defender this year, which is not really something you honestly just
you wanted to upgrade defensively as shortstop. You didn't get that.
Big Boy says, I trade Gallo and Hicks for a half a chicken bucket and Adam King.
Okay,
Someone who brushes their teeth live on stream. I mean,
that's legendary.
that's worth a trade. Half a chicken bucket. So they would still give you a boatload of unsalted fries, and then like 2.5 pieces of chicken. But we'll see all of that, of course, on the 25th of June. Now, also, I do want to look at this poll. Peter put up a poll with 12 votes that said, will the Yankees eventually DFA Aaron Hicks? 41% say no, 58% say yes. I don't think they're going to DFA Hicks. I think it will take.
They really like him.
Yeah. P says he will brush his teeth live on game season in honor of Adam King.
Salute to Adam King. Then you just got to pull, as he was mentioning yesterday, get the bucket of water and just start brushing on commercial break.
You can never be too hygienic. But I think our final topic is about, at least I think, maybe we have two more topics. I don't know. You have the doc right in front of you. Gleyber Torres. Like, I want to ask the chat, how do you feel about Gleyber Torres? Like, that's,
I think that's our final topic, but I've been pretty meh on him. Like, he shows glimpses of what he used to be, and then he just has stupid, dumbass at bats. So it's kind of like the box of chocolates, like you referred to Chapman. I think he's been better in the last several games, but there's got to be he's going to have to do a lot for me to really feel comfortable with him. Like yesterday, he made a dumbass error, which the ball went right off his glove. He wasn't focused. So Gleyber's hitting .250 on the year with 5 home runs and 18 RBIs.
How's he hitting in his last 7?
.346 with a homer and 5 RBIs, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, and 26 ABs.
Okay. So also this, because I was seeing it in one of our chats. Juan Soto, this is from Bleacher Report, I believe. Bleacher Report walk-off. Juan Soto traded, rival executives saying Nats may be compelled and motivated to move Soto this season. I know Gary Sheffield Jr. is a very big proponent of that. Would you go after Juan Soto?
Absolutely.
And you fill another outfield spot, because if you have Judge for the next couple of years, I know obviously money is a concern.
You have Soto in
center, you got Soto in left or right or wherever, and then you got Stanton. I mean, can you complain about that?
No, not really.
But it just happens. What are they going to do with Hicks? What are they going to do with Gallo? But for Gleyber, it's a weird thing for me, because like sometimes he'll hit 5 RBIs like he did against, which team was it? Was the Jays or somebody?
Yeah.
5 RBIs against the Jays, including a home run. And then some games the at bats will look terrible. He's not hitting the ball, and sometimes he's not playing defense. So he's pretty mid. He's pretty mid this season, in my opinion, and I don't think he's a long-term answer. I don't think
he's been as bad as last year, in my opinion.
Like when he's warm, when he's hot, I'll congratulate him and say, "Listen, you're on a streak." But when he's not, I will rip him, because I guess that's the type of player he is now. Like, I mean, I know you said on one of the podcasts that you're expecting Gleyber to come back to this power form, and I obviously hasn't really come back to that, because he's hit 3 home runs this year.
Yeah, 5 home runs actually this year.
5?
5 home runs this year for Gleyber Torres.
Oh, well, I thought it was actually a little less. I do want to get some comments real quick. I just want to see if anyone has replied. Let's see. Gleyber's hitting .250. He's starting to pick it up. It's let's see. Yeah, imagine that outfield: Stanton, Judge, and Soto. Mike says, I like Gleyber. I think we have to forget about him hitting 38 the 1 year. Yeah, I mean, it's a player he is. Big Boy says that Gleyber is playing his way into a trade piece. Do you believe that?
Could be possible. If Washington's asking for Gleyber, I think you got to do it.
I mean, they're probably like at this point, what does Washington have in terms of leverage? Like, have you seen their team this year? They suck. Like, you can't even look at record. Like, what was that play against the Marlins? Throw to the plate, error. Throw to second, error.
Washington is last in the division at 12-26.
I mean, if someone forced me to go to a Washington Nationals and Cincinnati Reds game, I would rather blow my brains out because that would just be a horrible product of baseball. And aren't the Nationals like, actually, no, I can't say that they're total bottom in payroll because they paid for Nelson Cruz for what? But yeah, I mean, Hicks, I don't know what you're trading. Like what I think if you were to trade Glaber at the deadline, it would be for like a pitcher or a player to be named later. I think that would be it. The Nets have the best player in baseball and can ask for everything. That's what they have. Yeah, true. But also, you know, if you want to be acting, if you want to put more of the fan perspective in, like that's, you know, your team sucks. So we can basically give you anything. But also, once again, they have
they sold at the deadline. They sold at the deadline last year. I don't see why they could not do it this year.
I mean, isn't their team arguably worse though?
They're 12. I want to say I don't remember what they were up to this point. Let me see if I can pull it up what they were last year. May 18th.
Well, you could go to into the schedule and we'll tell you like 12 to 27.
Okay, let me see. What's today? May 18th?
18th.
May 18th of last year, 2021. The Washington Nationals were 16-22.
So they were much better.
Yeah, they were a little better.
Mike says, "See to me, if you have a team like the Nats right now, why do you want Soto? You're wasting. Yeah, you're wasting his prime. And if you just extend him, it's like for what reason? So you could have a guy just get individual stats instead of, you know, your whole team benefiting. Like I don't even know if the Washington Nationals actually have a top minor league system. Like I don't know that much about them. But Soto in the 2 spot, followed by Judge, Stanton, and Rizzo. That would be pretty fire. That would be excellent. Also, you would get the most by trading him sooner. Yeah, no, because the value would be right then and there, especially at the trade deadline. But with that being said, Luca, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think this was a great live. We could, finally, interact with you guys, which is really fun. I get to respond to some of your comments. And I hope to see you all at June 25th, NyynewsTV Day.
Yeah, let me do the bookkeeping stuff. So make sure to hit that notification bell, like, comment, subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Also, check out my channel, Big Blue in the Bronx. I mean, obviously a lot of Yankee content is coming on here as an NyynewsTV from the both of us, but at the same time, Giants really don't have anything to talk about, right? Anyway, if I'm forgetting anything else on June 25th, as Luca mentioned, please buy your tickets. We have a lot of people coming, and we were very excited to meet some of you in person. It's going to be a really fun weekend. We appreciate you guys. Shout out to the loyal ones, as usual. Peace out, guys. See you later. Peace.
Before it hits the front page, NY